Good afternoon, traders. Another day where the trading day was completely different than after hours. This is one of the most volatile earnings seasons that I can remember, with individual names completely dictating market direction. There's a lot to look at, and then I'll go over my longer-term precious metals outlook. So much like yesterday, I'm going to start off talking about how today went, and now, of course, with the after-hours action on Amazon, seeing a very bullish reaction in the market, we'll then look at where do we stand now, and what are we looking at here in the short term. And just so you know what I'm talking about, Amazon earnings reaction, big time rocket up. I can't recall a time that individual earnings had this much impact. We went 20% up from the low to the high. Had this much impact on the broader market as a whole. The swings and the sentiment shifts that we are seeing are pretty remarkable. Apple marked the bottom as far as I'm concerned, as far as bulls getting some confidence. And then we had Facebook absolute dump mark the top of our bounce. And now bulls are hoping that this Amazon big bull move is going to mark our daily higher lows. So looking at the S&P 500 futures chart today, now on the daily candle, we've got a long lower wick. And this consolidation is very healthy. And again, the way that I'm viewing it, from the all-time high to the low, the fear drop, we bounced 62%. 62% retracement. Now from our fear low up to the top of the bounce, the S&P 500 is a potential daily little bull flag. The retracement is very minimal at this point. So this is obviously a big win for the bulls. And in my opinion, we're seeing this much reaction from individual earnings because we're already in an elevated market environment heading into this earnings season. And again, you show me these charts and there's nothing unusual going on. As far as, yeah, it was a nice big bounce, but we knew to scout the lower high. We knew to scout daily consolidation. We knew to scout a higher low on the daily once we topped out. Now, we can't say the daily higher low is set yet, but it might be shaping up. So the chart itself is nothing unusual, but again, it's these earnings reactions that are marking our highs and lows. So the bears had complete control today, and it was actually a very bearish day. You can see the S&P 500. Let's just use SPY. So SPY from the open had a little bit of a bounce, but it was just an hourly bear flag. If you zoomed out, we were just looking for an hourly lower high. We set it and then dumped into the end of the day. And things really started to accelerate at the end, the last 2 hours, because we started this morning with QQQ being weak thanks to Facebook's bearish earnings, but XLF and XLV were just fine. And if I'm a broader market bull, best case scenario is only one major sector showing weakness and the other sectors holding up strong to offset that weakness. By the end of the day, all of our major sectors were hitting the lows at the same time, which, as we know, is a notable signal to us, and it shows a very different environment. It shows fear as opposed to just QQQ fear and everything else holding on well. It shows entire market fear. So that's what the last 2 hours of the day was. But again, now we got this big time bounce, and we're going to be looking to see, can the S&P 500 futures confirm an hourly trend change from here? Right now, I would still call us in an hourly downtrend with anything under this resistance as a lower high. And overnight, the bulls are going to have to confirm an hourly trend change for us to be shaping up a daily higher low. And again, if we look at SPY, don't have that wick because obviously the bell rang, but we're trading at 451 and we would be up here with a long lower wick trying to set the daily higher low. If the high of today breaks tomorrow, if 453 on SPY breaks tomorrow, our daily higher low is going to very quickly be set, and we're going to be looking right back up at that bounce high. So it's a different look on the NASDAQ because the NASDAQ, it's the same long lower wick, but look at the retracement. So the retracement from all-time highs to the fear low was more like 50, 53% or so. And then this bounce, we just gave back over 50% on this pullback. So that was a very significant pullback. But again, big bounce. Can the bulls confirm an hourly trend change? Is this enough for a sentiment shift to stick to set our daily higher lows? And as I've said, I believe that we're going to trade within this weekly range in the broader market most of February. But it would be a big win for bulls if we head right back up to a higher high here and set this daily higher low this quickly. So tomorrow's a fairly important day. If we just trade around within the range established today, it won't be a meaningful day. But if bulls show up tomorrow and follow through and set these daily higher lows, it'll definitely be a big win. Semiconductors daily consolidation started today. We're scouting a daily higher low compared to 249.36 with plenty of space for it to form. We're watching our retracement size. Is a daily trend change the most likely scenario, or is the pullback significant enough that we're going to be watching for a tightening daily range? At this point, if this is our higher low, it is healthy daily consolidation, and you can see not a huge move after hours, definitely benefiting, but still work to do tomorrow. Bulls must confirm an hourly trend change on individual names and ETFs. Bulls must confirm an hourly trend change back in their favor for daily higher lows to be established. So bulls now have some breathing room and they have some room to work with above lows of today, but tomorrow they have to follow through. Tesla, inverse head and shoulders, potentially shaping up. Bulls were looking real good this morning, but you can only offset sector and broader market weakness for so long. And Tesla stood out as a lead bull all morning, just a raging bull. And then broader market weakness, and we gave a lot of that move back. And now we're watching for the potential of an hourly equilibrium. So low of the day, high of the day, and now after hours with us up 1.5%. Bulls are hoping that our hourly high or low is set, and we'll be watching for the potential of an hourly equilibrium tomorrow, knowing that we must confirm the hourly trend change for our daily high or low to be set, and we must break 944 for the daily trend change to confirm, and for the inverse head and shoulders to confirm. NIO is very similar. So NIO is trying to set this daily high or low very quickly. And the bulls must confirm an hourly trend change and break 25.23 to do so. We're battling the daily EMA 12 and we are still rejecting from it. Very similar to Tesla setup. I was very frustrated today. I did not do a ton of trading because I was watching NIO. I had SQQQ exposure, so I wanted a bull position. And I watched NIO trade real tight. Oh, that's my answer right there. Look at the 1 minute volume here. There was a back order. The orders didn't go through until 9:34. And that now makes sense because I had my orders at 9:32.53, 9:33.40. I placed 2 limit buy orders. As soon as this 1 minute inside bar broke to a new high of the day, I placed a limit order that did not fill. It just sat there and the price kept going up. So I canceled it. I placed it again, didn't fill. Price kept going up. So I just canceled it because if you're going to run the price up 1% higher than when I placed the order, that throws off the trade for me. And it would have been a very nice win. And looks to me like pretty much every broker must have been experiencing that issue in the first few minutes. But I then recognized I'm frustrated. These jerks won't fill my order. It would have been a great entry. And so I said, I can't trade if I am frustrated because all I'm going to do is set myself up to make a mistake. So I took the rest of the morning off for the most part and did make some entries an hour later, which I'll talk about. But that definitely spoiled my morning game plan. Healthcare. So healthcare held on well today. Really uneventful day. Just a little inside bar. And yes, it was red, but the size of that range today, we know it didn't have any impact on the market. And we're just watching the stair step pattern. When we lose it, we'll scout a daily high or low, anything above 126.86. So more often than not, we see the healthcare sector as a non-event, and it's either healthcare, or it's either the financial sector or QQQ that is dictating things. Financial sector today pulling back, closing fairly weak near the low. We're up a little bit after hours, not very meaningful. And we're watching our daily uptrend because we know the daily higher lows are the indication of when the weekly lower high is set. So we know that on this current pullback, there's a lot of space to form a higher low, anything above 37.59. And if we lose the daily higher lows, then our weekly lower high is set. So that's what we're watching into next week. We're scouting a daily higher low with lots of space for it to form. We're watching how big is the retracement. Is it brief for continuation? Is it significant enough to open up the lower high possibility? IWM. Also weak today. We know there's a handful of names that have not confirmed a daily uptrend. QQQ and SPY confirmed daily uptrends. XLF confirmed a daily uptrend. Tesla has not. IWM has not. NIO has not. The biotech sector has not. There's still a ton of individual names that have to do so. So IWM needs a daily high or low, anything above 188.09. We're up after hours here, maybe 0.5%, a little more than that, 0.75. We need an hourly trend change. That's all we're looking for tomorrow on a ton of individual names. Can the bulls shape up an hourly trend change in their favor to set a daily high or low to try and shape up a daily trend change? When's the last time we've seen a daily trend change to the bulls in IWM? It's been a long time. I would say there hasn't been a clear daily trend change with a higher low and higher high to the bulls since the all-time high. You could look at this one here and say, well, is that a little trend change? That's not meaningful for me. That's one that I would condense down to the 2-day time frame. So bulls have proving to do, and they need that daily higher low tomorrow. Every red day that we see from here decreases the probabilities that the bulls are going to be able to change the daily trend in their favor from here. Biotech sector is the same. The inverse head and shoulders is on the table, but bulls need to set that daily higher low ASAP. After hours here, we're up 1%. Have to set up the hourly trend change on this bounce. Just looking for a lower high. Have to set up that hourly trend change for a daily higher low to be set, to then be scouting a daily trend change attempt. A lot of these weaker sectors, tomorrow's a big day. Have to shape up that daily higher low. And ARKK shows us that. Again, decent little bounce there, absolutely. You know, percentage-wise, that's 15%. But we've given back over half that bounce, and we don't have a daily trend change. So all that does is it cools off RSI levels. It sees some short covering, some bulls buying the dip. If you do not change the trend, you do not keep sustained pressure on shorts. You look at this bounce here. This is the mindset when you're looking back at a chart like this. You look at this bounce and say, okay, this is a big enough bounce to put anybody that went short in this name underwater, anybody that's been short the last 8 days. That's not very long because you still got months of shorts that are very, very comfortable. If you change that daily trend, it then goes from 8 days and then it goes towards 15 days. And the more you can put previous shorts underwater, that's how you change trends. It's not only bulls buying the dip, it's forcing shorts to cover to keep that price going up. So if you do not change the trends, the bears keep complete control. And that's where we stand on a lot of these weaker sectors and a lot of these growth names still. Cannabis sector still weak as well. Well, we had a nice bounce, but we're giving a lot of it back. And the bulls still have a lot of proving to do. MSOS has not confirmed a convincing daily trend change to me. We did have, I guess, a little support hold and a resistance break. But again, no follow through. We're giving it back much too quickly. And the weekly time frame is still very weak. So bulls must show up and change that if we're going to see any kind of momentum shift. Because right now, all these weak sectors still very comfortable for bears. I am still looking at MNMD, sold a bit yesterday, knowing or very convinced that the broader market was likely to see some pullback, bought some back today. So essentially the way I've just been playing this is didn't get any of this big bull move, saw this 90-cent double bottom, entered in 94s, exited half yesterday, maybe in the 117, 118 range, and then bought that back today, maybe 106 or so. So pretty much buying it back 10% lower, scouting a daily higher low compared to 90 cents, and hoping that it breaks bull. But just positioning, trading within the equilibrium. And again, the equilibrium is one of the most common patterns in stocks. If you can only learn one pattern, learn the equilibrium. There are both bull trades and bear trades within it. And that is how I am navigating MNMD. So on to the metals. Let's talk bigger picture metals, because metals had a lot of hype and a lot of FOMO and euphoria building, and then it got smacked down with the FOMC. And that was disheartening for a lot of traders. But I am now starting to get back interested in metals. Why? Dollar weakness. I care more about the dollar than the metals charts right now, because I know that if the metal bulls are going to break out, the dollar needs to break down. And what just happened on the dollar is a bull flag confirming with zero follow through. That's telling me to scout the other direction. So what I want to see is a daily higher low. You know, I'm viewing anything, it was just a straight shot up. I'm viewing anything over 94,629 as a higher low, but I'm scouting that daily lower high. I want a few green days and I want to scout a lower high. And when I feel that lower high is being set, I want to be scouting entries in gold and silver. And then we need to confirm a daily downtrend for us to say, okay, that is a bull flag that confirmed with zero follow through. And we then need to break 94.62 because that would increase the odds. That would be the first step towards the potential of our 6-month lower high being set. And if you've been watching this channel for a long time, you know we've been watching this pattern for years. And we are now scouting a 6-month lower high, and the metals will break out in a big way, and gold will go to all-time highs, in my opinion, if the dollar breaks this pattern that's been building for 6 years, if it breaks it bear. So we don't need the bear break to be bullish the metals. We can do that with just the 6-month lower high, and maybe we then tighten up for another year, for all I know. But the break of this pattern will be monumental in terms of which direction it breaks and the impact that it has on gold and silver. So let's just say a daily high or low forms here on the dollar soon, and we bounce a couple days. That tells me I'm looking about mid next week, maybe late next week. I'm going to be scouting some entries in these metals. And the most clear time frame that I have on gold and silver is the 2-week time frame. And that's why I was patient, because I was anticipating the potential that we could remain within this tightening range. And the way I'm viewing this is a low, high, higher low, lower high. And we have now been forming this pattern for 4 months. So what the bulls are hoping is for a higher low to form here, and then we need a bull break of 1854 to get a bull break out of this pattern. I like the long-term setup. I like the 4-month chart for gold. It's just getting tight. It's just cranking tighter and tighter. You've got a soda can that you're shaking up, and it's going to pop, and we're going to see volume and volatility. I can't say if it's going to pop bull or bear. If I were forced to guess, I would guess a bull break, just because this is a bullish longer-term pattern, but I need that dollar weakness. So a daily bear flag fended off today. Reaction to economic data pre-market with a dump and a V-shaped bounce. And again, I'm not missing anything. These moves are not significant as long as we are range-bound, so I am in no rush. But I'm watching closely to see if there's an entry that I like on the dollar bounce, and my stop will be if gold breaks 1753. And silver, it's the same exact thing. We confirm the daily bear flag with 0 follow through, but the 2-week time frame is the same. And the key support here for me is 2142, the double bottom. I'm still not confirmed. I'm still not confident that these metals are going to break bull. Silver does not look nearly as good as gold. But we know if gold's going to break bullish, that silver will probably have bigger percentage gains. But if I could only look at silver chart, I wouldn't really have much interest in looking for a bull entry right now. It's the gold chart, which is why I have interest in looking for a bull entry. Checking it on the miners. So miners in the same pattern. We've got our low, high, higher low, lower high, and a key support. For me, the most important level is 2840. And I would just use 2833 because it's right there as well. Pretty much a double bottom. And we know there's more impact with the broader market with what these miners do. Perhaps scouting a daily high or low and putting a stop under 2833. Again, I'm in no rush to do anything. I'm watching the dollar for a bounce, but just letting you know, this is what my views are, bigger picture, and what I want to see if this trade is going to come to me. And that's an important aspect with trading. I set the criteria. If you want to date me, Mr. Gold Trade, this is what I need. And then I'll date you. And if not, I'm not going to settle for you. There's a million things I can trade. I'm not going to go searching for you. You come to me. And that is dating advice with Charting Man Dan. So, I'm out of end of video content. Adventure time's over for now. I need to start making some new content with my camera. I'll bust it out this weekend. Forget what I put here. We're watching something from a while ago. But next week, we'll be back into here and now. Do good things. Hope you had a good week, and we'll see you soon. Good morning. One of the ways that I stay one step ahead of the herd is by out hustling them. So every single day I'm waking up before the sun, not by an alarm, but because my body wakes me up, because it's pumped to be alive. And it's looking forward to going downstairs and making content first thing. And I love starting the day and setting the intention of the day of being productive by knocking things off my checklist before it's even 8 a.m. It's really easy to have a very productive day when you're already productive before the sun even comes up. So when learning charts and technical analysis, for me it was never, I need to do this work so I can make money. It was always, I enjoy doing this and money is going to result from it. And those are two very different mindsets to be in, and you have to ensure that your goals are in line with your enjoyment if you're going to be able to do this long-term successfully. So don't forget to do good things out there. Go get productive on the day. We'll see you soon.
Shh, hear that? It's Sunday morning and that's the sound of the herd sleeping.